Hello, hello, hello. You're Not Broken, Chapter 8. The 5-step Superconscious Creator Code. God, why is it so blurry? Is it like unfocused or is that just my camera? No, it's definitely like making it blurrier than usual. Whatever. It's about the words. Now it's time to bring it all together through one succinct process that takes 15 minutes a day. You will be able to predictably create the reality you desire. Honestly, what the heck's going on? It looks shit to me. To be a creator is to understand the creation process. In nature, we observe that there are 3 major stages in the creation process: germination, assimilation, and completion. Every complete creative process moves through the cycle and always in the same sequence. The cycles are as natural and organic as the human birth cycle and have the same stages. Germination occurs at conception. This is the prime initiating act that starts the entire process. Germination begins with excitement and newness. Think about a new relationship or a new idea. They're always exciting at the beginning. Assimilation is often the least obvious phase of the process. In this phase, the initial thrill is gone. This phase moves from a focus on internal action to external action. In this phase, you begin to have insights, ideas, connections, and added momentum. Your creation begins to take shape. It becomes more and more tangible. In this phase, you are always met with dissatisfaction and failure, but with each action, you learn and gain specific skills. Maybe it's just that the light needs to go a bit higher. Completion is the final stage when the creation comes to maturity. Few people have mastered this stage. Most tend to keep moving the goalpost further and farther away. The initial goal has been doubled or quadrupled. To create, you must be able to receive the full fruits of your labor. When you are creating, you are the only one who is able to declare a result as complete. You alone can determine when reality satisfies your vision. Many people love the germination or idea phase. It is new, fun, and exciting. However, there is no risk at this stage. You haven't had to follow through with assimilation and bring the idea of a new relationship, healthy body, or business to completion. Remember, completion often means a previous identity needs to die. As your end result becomes more sold, in reality, your self-sabotaging identity becomes more protective. So, the germination stage often moves along nicely until we reach the assimilation phase, where we face resistance. We need to make sure the psychological tension created by the identity does not outdo and distract the process. The not a good enough person starts focusing on how they need to be better. The perfectionist tries to avoid any failure. The non-capable person enrolls in a new course, and the victim blames others. No matter what distraction you face, you need to follow through. You must master your own creative process and stay in the end result. Follow through is not sexy. It's easier to allow your feelings to get the better of you and buckle at psychological tension. If you do this, you will oscillate. When I hear people justify why they are not following through, they say, "I knew it wasn't the right idea. It's just not the right time. I need to learn more. They weren't right for me. I just can't." If you want to be a creator, you must follow through. Even in the face of a current reality that doesn't look anything like what you desire, you must follow through. If it was meant to be, it was because you created it. You, as the creator, made it happen. If you want to have a successful business, you must keep going after a setback. If you want a successful relationship, you have to get out and meet people. If you want a best-selling book, you must write, and continue to write, even when your editor gives you disappointing new feedback. If you want to make sales, you must call people. 13 years ago, I learned a lesson about follow-through when I tried to establish a Mexican restaurant. I found a location and had a bank loan approved. At the last minute, the real estate agent called to say they had given the location to someone else. It's doing my head in. It it just blurs as soon as I go back a bit too far. I mean, it is a bad camera anyway, but it's not usually like that. Let me know in the comments if you actually give a shit about the blur, or if I'm just overthinking. It was devastated. I was devastated. I thought it was everything. It was perfect. I told Dees I was giving up. It obviously was not meant to be. After 6 months of organising, planning, hiring the right chef, obtaining bank loans, business partners and more, it was just too much. He looked at me and said, "If that's all it took for you to give up, you really didn't want it, did you?" He was right. Laughing at me, he told me the setback was nothing compared to what I will face in the future. I never forget Deese's words. If this was all it took for you to give up, did you really want it? Sorry, I need a coffee. The answer was no. His words changed my life, and I hope they change yours too. If you really want it, you will follow through. But remember, you must follow through on the right end result. I never started the restaurant because it wasn't what I truly desired. I needed to find my true end results. You need to find them as well. Dreams deserve to be experienced in this reality. Dees died when a truck swerved across the center line and took him out on his motorbike. You never know if today will be your last, so focus on what you decide to create and follow through. Half a decade later, Dees's death became a catalyst for me to commit to creating a life I love, to choose to have it now and create what I love. I choose to focus on the end result and love the journey. I choose to be a heart-centered maniac on a mission and in love with life, creating amazing outcomes. I just decided, and I followed through. Now it's your time to make a decision to become a powerful superconscious creator. Welcome to a new reality. The Superconscious Creator Code. The 5-step creation process should be done as a daily practice. It allows you to follow the wisdom process and get instructions for each of your choices in 10 to 15 minutes each day. This is so that all of your true choices are flowing. If you have 10 true choices, then you can do 2 per day to ensure you do the process for each choice at least once a week. The 5 steps are: 1. Choose an end result you would love to create. 2. Create a structural tension with the current reality. 3. Step into the feeling of having it. 4. Recode resistance. And 5. Take aligned action and follow through. The 5 steps to consciously create your desire. This is very good. I'll read this to you now. I may be able to attach files for this. 1. Choose a true goal. Align your target with your end result and move forward with complete clarity. 2. Create structural tension. Pull yourself toward what you desire without internal struggle and with minimal effort. 3. Emotion of end result. Create new emotional set points based on the person you want to be rather than the person you need to fix. 4. Unplug and recode. Replace old habits, beliefs, and feelings with new ones and step into your new reality with a deep understanding of your limits. 5. Take aligned action. Align your actions with your true goal to create unparalleled momentum and remove the fear of getting it wrong. These are the 5 steps to create anything you desire, from health to relationships, wealth, and everything else. By using this system, you truly can have it all. It will only take 15 minutes a day, and it will allow you to create without the struggle. By following these 5 steps, you will ensure you are in a creative structure, creating what you love and using your superconscious to its full capacity to gain insight and recode instructions. These 5 steps allow you to create a focused vessel for your superconscious to work in, and then allow you to take the perfect action to manifest with ease. Let's get into it. In the previous chapter, we got clear on true end results that you would love to create. This may have seemed like a giant step, and it definitely was. However, knowing your true end results is very important. But this isn't the hard part. The hard part is following through on what you get. As you follow the Superconscious Creation Code, you give your thoughts and feelings less power and follow through on the information you get from the field. It becomes easier the more you do it because your resistance to following your intuition melts away more and more each time you do it. Trust me, if you follow through on this process, you will witness miraculous results. You will teach your self-conscious and unconscious that listening to the superconscious is a good thing, and will turn down the extent of resistance. Thanks for the coffee, babe. Over time, you will not need to recode very often, because all aspects of you will be happy to listen to the superconscious and take action no matter what. In this process, you get to be a creator. You get to have it all, and be in love with creating more things you love. This is the reason why we are on this planet, to experience our creative energy and witness ourselves creating. You are always creating and always have been. Now you are deciding how and what to create. It seems simple, but you may run into many problems at each step. Let's review how to be successful with each step. The following brings together everything discussed in previous chapters. 1. Choose an end result you love and get the next action. The first step is to choose an end result you would love to create, like one of the core 4. This ensures you are in creative focus. You should have your true choices written down. Review them every 90 days and focus on 2 choices a day. Many people go for true end results, but very few see them manifest predictably every time. The first mistake is not committing to a true end result. You must decide on the end result you would love to create. If you never make the decision, you can never have it. The second mistake is trying to solve a problem by creating the end result. This always results in failure, because as soon as you solve the problem, you have no need for the creation and therefore sabotage it. The third mistake is making the creation too big or too small. If it's too big, you will feel overwhelmed at the size. If it's too small, it won't pull you through the tough challenges. This is what the lenses are for. Start big, then break it down. The fourth mistake is trying to control how it will show up. If you want financial abundance, let it show up in a gift, a business, or a suitcase lying on the street. The fifth mistake is thinking you don't know what action to take, or that you don't need to take any action. There is always an action to take. Sitting back and waiting for something to show up is still an action. However, most of the time, it's not an obvious action that will lead to the result you desire. To review, this first step is all about tuning in to the end result you desire and deciphering the next action to take. At this point, you must already be living the core 4 orientational choices. If you are not, work on those first. Remember, you can have anything you desire. It's just a choice, but you must move towards it. You must take action. Instruction for step 1. Decide on an end result you would love to create and write it down. 2. Create structural tension. The second step is to create a measurement or structural tension with the current reality. We do this by asking, compared to that, where am I now? Tension is what pulls everything together in this universe. When you learn to use creative tension, you will learn to harness a magical force to pull what you desire towards you and to pull yourself to it. The only way to create tension is to have 2 or more points that are in connection. We need 2 points because this creates a clear path for the tension to resolve itself. Remember, tension seeks resolution along the path of least resistance. When you create a measure and of where your creation is now compared to where you would like it to be, you invoke the magnetic force called tension. By creating a disequilibrium, the structural tension wants to flow towards your end result. You are not creating a competing wave, you are just completing a structure. The current reality and desired reality are not separate but joined by tension. Think of it as water at the top, middle, and end of a river. Even though they are in separate places, you wouldn't say they are disconnected, would you? In the same way, your current reality is not separate from your desired reality. Each current reality is just a previous version of the desired end result, just like each point in the river is at a different point of getting to the sea. It doesn't help to be negative about your current reality. Instead, observe where the creation is currently and think about it like you're painting a masterpiece. Maybe right now it's a blank canvas, or maybe the canvas just got thrown out and you're starting again. It doesn't matter. All current realities are in service of the end result you are creating. Simply observe the now and experience the natural tension, disequilibrium, or void between the now and the desire, so you can experience momentum. We must remember that we create it all. Sometimes what looks like destruction is actually creating the space for what we really want to come through. When working in this new structure, it's not uncommon for a person's reality to look like it is breaking down. For example, someone might choose to have a loving relationship and step into the end result every day, filling themselves with love. Then, all of a sudden, they find out their spouse has cheated. It sounds like their life is falling apart, but is it? What really happened? When they shifted into a true end result of love and support, they no longer had the same need for old emotions like feelings of unworthiness, which they got from their current relationship. Because the partner was part of the structure, they were driven to find a way to make you feel unworthy again, because their unconscious is trying to keep everything the same. At this point, the person can choose to have the partner align with the true choice, or of the loving relationship, and do the work, or they can find a new partner who does align with the new version of themselves that feels love and fulfillment. The cheating partner was a needed step to create the true end result. Again, the current reality sometimes has to break down for you to recreate a new future. I once worked with a woman whose son was on drugs. She decided to raise happy and healthy children and stop reacting to his rebellion. But 2 weeks later, the son overdosed. I'll leave you on that cliffhanger as I stir my coffee. This actually ended up being the awakening the son needed, because she didn't react to his rebellion. They could start over with a relationship built on creation instead of reaction. These are very extreme examples, but they show the principle. It's not uncommon for someone to be creating financial abundance and lose their job. Someone creating health and vitality can be swiftly hit with symptoms of an underlying illness. In these cases, the current reality becomes a seed of the future creation. In review, to create the structural tension, we must observe what we have created now in relationship to what we desire. We observe what is here and set up the disequilibrium of energy to resolve itself to complete what we desire. Instruction for step 2. Write down where you are now compared to the end result. What have you created compared to the end result? I did this morning, although I didn't write it down. I write down the end result, but I don't write down the current reality. I just ponder about it. But maybe I'll get a notebook specifically for these processes. 3. Step into the emotion of the end result. The third step is to connect emotionally with your end result by stepping into the emotion of having it now. This way, you instruct the unified field of all possibilities where you desire to go and what you are choosing. It is as simple as stating, I choose the end result of health and vitality, and then witnessing/visualizing with your eyes closed what it would be for that to be true. To bring your end result to life, you need to gather the emotion of having it. By doing so, you teach your unconscious what and how it must be now, so there is no resistance. Transformation and healing occur when you become it now. Remember that everything is created twice. By stepping into the end result and feeling the emotion of it completed, you are creating a second feeling to the same end result. Using this simple principle, you can create huge internal transformations and become the end result before it is made manifest. You can literally transform your body and identity by creating a different internal environment. The only way to be in emotional alignment and to have no identity resistance is in the now. How you feel now equals how you feel in the future. So, how would you actually feel if you had the new car, or a new house, or if you were completing a huge goal? You would feel exactly as you did the last time you created something. You wouldn't feel any different than yourself. Maybe, for a moment, you will feel something else, but overall, you will be the same. When you really get into the motion of the end result, you can feel it, and you won't necessarily have a crazy super high feeling. You will simply feel the feeling of having it. In review, if something is coded up in your reality to give you a feeling that you are not living or not allowed, you will not have it. If you have not practiced having it, you will unconsciously avoid it or sabotage it. This is why I recommend using the emotion of the end result daily for every one of your choices. By going into the emotion of the end result, you instruct your body to know what you desire and to know it's safe to feel that way. Instruction for step 3. Close your eyes and witness yourself having the end result now. Allow it to be real. Then visualize yourself doing and completing the next action and feeling good about it. This should take no longer than a minute, but usually 30 seconds. 4. Recode resistance. The 4th step is to remove any resistance in the way. First, you ask what is in the way. When you do that, resistance is pushed into the active experience, ready for you to recode it. Once you have allowed the resistance to pop into the active experience, you can connect to the superconscious and recode the instructions it gives. In a perfect world, you would have a goal and then be able to go for it. You will be there. You will get there. For most of us, we have an identity with certain unwanted beliefs, which produces resistance to taking the necessary action. As you know, resistance is the opposing force to releasing the tension. For many people, fear of their unwanted beliefs coming true stops all movement. Instead of going for what we want, we find ourselves pulled by the psychological tension and move in a different direction. When you have true end results that you'd really love to create, and you have stepped into the creative structure, your identity predictably resists. It doesn't want to change. So in entering a new structure, you pop resistance into your active experience and uncover it. Once you discover what is in the way, you then get to step into the superconscious field and change the instructions. Remember, all resistance is just information that was useful in the past. Once all the resistance is neutralized, you get to install the end result emotion again. So, you let go of what you don't want, giving the unconscious new orientation instructions. The 3 simple steps to removing all limitations are 1. Uncover. 2. Change. 3. Install. You don't want to just sit and ask, what do I need to change, or what is wrong with me? We cannot change what happened, and we do not need the things that happened to poison our future, so we want to let them go. What you desire is at the end of the river, and your unconscious has created blocks to stop the flow. When we get into the creative structure, we're 100% happy in the now and know what we desire to create. We can change the instructions and treat all the blocks by connecting to the superconscious by simply asking, when we do this, we separate the instruction and emotion that caused the blocks. When we do the recode, many people get physical sensations and experience profound shifts, while others feel nothing. However, everyone notices that, for some strange reason, behaviors that used to be difficult are now easy. Everyone reports they can easily flow towards what they really desire. Neuroscience has proven to us that our brain is plastic and can change its structure. In fact, this is how learning takes place. New connections can be made, and old ones can be reconsolidated and reorganized. If you would like more information on neuroplasticity, read Norman E. Doiger's book, How the Brain Heals and the Brain That Changes Itself. Remember, as you go for what you want, you will come up against your own resistance. Once it is uncovered, use the superconscious recode process to release all the old patterns so action can occur. Remember, you are a creative energy, and you created it all. Own the resistance, which was useful at one time, and recode it. Here are some old, open-ended questions you can use to uncover your resistance. What do I believe I have to be, do, or have in order to create the end result of or take the best action? What do I believe about myself in relation to creating this end result? What do I believe about the end result? What emotions stop me? How am I defining myself in relation to the end result? What am I assuming? Where am I giving the power? What would I have to risk being true if I went for the end result? What internal conflicts do I have about the end result or the action? These questions trigger the unconscious into sharing its coding. It's like seeing all the rocks in the way of the flowing stream. Once you can see them, you can move them. Now, the superconscious needs to do the next step, which is to change the instructions. I like to create a measurement of how much resistance there is. This allows you to remember where you were before you started, so you can see the change at the end. So, if 10 out of 10 resistance is like swimming upstream, and 0 out of 10 is an easy float downstream to your end results, how would you rate the level of resistance? Write them down. To change the instructions, you simply connect to your superconscious by dropping into your heart or stepping into innocence and asking for the treatment. Once you have asked for the change, simply get out of the way and notice what is different. I usually say something like, Superconscious, do you see this resistance to the end result? Can you please treat it perfectly? Once I ask for the change, I let go, surrender, and ask myself, what is different? I love to witness the difference and experience the change. After a few minutes, I may ask for more change, or I may simply move on to the last part. Which is to install the new emotion or way. I declare my unconscious to orient so there is no resistance to what I am creating. Through installing, you will have no problem experiencing the end result to be true, so close your eyes, step into the end result, and feel it. When I do superconscious recode sessions, I sometimes have up to 1,000 people on a live call. Many are doing this for the first time, and I am constantly swept away by their responses. Many people feel huge shifts, energy flowing in and around their bodies, and some also fall asleep only to wake up minutes later. Others feel nothing, are unsure of the change, and feel like they missed out. Whatever is true for you is just perfect. The only thing that matters is whether or not the resistance to your end result has shifted. If you are able to take an action or think about a situation and not feel all the limiting feelings or thoughts, then that is perfect. You know a recode has worked when whatever was stopping you from moving towards your end result is no longer a problem. You are not sitting still, asking what is wrong with you and trying to fix that. Instead, you are in momentum, moving towards a result that you would love, and you are aligning with that. Instructions for step 4. 1. Uncover resistance using questions. 2. Own the fact that you are superconscious and created this resistance. 3. Go into your heart/innocence. 4. Connect to the superconscious. 5. Command to treat the current coding. 6. Visualize and experience the end result as if it's happening now to install the emotion of it. 5. Take aligned action. The 5th step is to take action towards your new manifestation. Without any resistance, you are able to take the required action and turn your thoughts into reality. You are always in action, and in order to create, you must follow through on all instructions from the superconscious. If you don't follow through, you are giving an invisible command to all aspects of your superconscious that you really don't want to end the end result, and you do not value the connection to the superconscious. If you do not follow through, you will end up creating chaos. The obvious action is the easiest and most natural way for the manifestation to occur. When you commit to an end result and engage your superconscious, it is a very powerful instructor. I have learned from experience to trust the obvious action and follow through, no matter how much my self-conscious doubts it. If there is no resistance, then the obvious action can be taken. If you want something, go for it. It's that simple. Action is the highest form of communication, and once you have recoded all your resistance, you are free to move towards what you desire. And because you are in the right structure, you will turn your current reality into your desired one. Unfortunately, many have told you the law of attraction works by you sitting back, doing nothing, and just receiving, and then everything turns up for you. Just having a seed doesn't guarantee a forest. You must plant the seed, nurture it, and face setbacks. If there is a natural disaster, you will need to replant it. You will need to keep taking the correct action until you have what you set out to create. You must follow through to completion. You cannot build your life on the premise that if you just think about what you desire and feel it, it will somehow show up. There is always an action to take, and you only have 2 options when it comes to deciding the next action. You either know what to do and do it, or you do not know and must find out what you should do next. In either case, there is action to take. It's also helpful to keep in mind that there are two types of action, masculine and feminine. In society, we generally think of masculine action as action and feminine action as inaction. This is not true. They are simply different forms of action. Masculine action is hunting, planting seeds, and going after what you want. Feminine action is nurturing the seeds, harvesting, and receiving what comes back. Both are needed. Many people, like myself, get stuck in one of the two poles of action. If you stay in the masculine and go after things all day without nurturing or receiving, you will end up exhausted. If you try to stay with the feminine action of self-care, surrender, and receiving all day without the masculine, you will not create anything. You will need someone else to do the creation/decision making for you. You need both. All great things have small beginnings. Every masterpiece has its first brush stroke. Every building has its first brick, and every life its first breath. The same rule is true for nearly every aspect of our world, and our personal success is no exception. Small actions compound to create huge results. This is the power of compounding. Consider the domino effect. On its own, a domino isn't much. It's about 2 inches tall and weighs about as much as a box of matches. But with the domino comes our force. In fact, one domino has the capacity to knock down another piece that is 1.5 times larger. This seemingly infinitesimal ability compounds to produce incredible outcomes. Imagine a long string of dominoes lined up one after the other, each one progressively 1.5 times larger than the last. If you were to knock down the first 2-inch domino, you would set off a chain reaction that by the 57th interaction would produce enough force to knock over a domino stretching the distance between the Earth and the Moon. That sounds like bullshit. That's crazy. Production for step 5. Instruction for step 5. Ask your superconscious to give you instructions. Ask, what are all the possible actions I could take to turn this end result into reality? Write them down and follow through on one of them. That's it. Use the 5-step process outlined in this chapter every day. Remember to start with the core 4 choices and then have other choices up to 12. I have a business choice, a family choice, a relationship choice, a fun choice, a financial choice, and an impact choice, along with a couple of others. Choose 1 or 2 to focus on every day. Step into the end result every day. Recode any resistance every day. And take the obvious action every day. If you do this every day, you will create amazing results in your life. Chapter 8 Review. You must learn to become superconscious even when it is hard to follow through. As you decide to follow through on the things that really matter to you, old patterns of information and decisions will pop into your active experience, causing resistance. You must learn to stay focused on the end result and leave the baby crying. The 5 steps to the recode process are: 1. Choose an end result you would love to create. 2. Create a structural tension by noticing the current reality. 3. Step into the feeling of having it. 4. Recode resistance. 5. Take aligned action and follow through. When choosing the correct action, what is most important is just to choose one and start. We very rarely get the action right the first time, so take your best guess and follow through. You will quickly learn whether or not it's taking you to where you desire. The only way to be in emotional alignment and have no identity resistance is in the now. How you feel now equals how you feel in the future. We use the emotion of the end results to understand what we must align with now. Sometimes the current reality has to break down for you to recreate a new future. You must stay focused on your end result. Notice the current reality and accept that this was your creation. It's a seed of the future creation, and it is perfect. Love the now. It's just a step in this journey called life, and every moment is precious. You have the ability to let go of and reconstruct all aspects of your neurobiology. You just need a way to connect to the part of you that's doing the creating and creates new instructions. To create, you must follow through on all instructions from the superconscious. If you don't follow through, you are giving an invisible command to all aspects of your superconscious that you don't really want the end result. There are three major stages in the creation process: germination, assimilation, and completion. Every complete creative process moves through this cycle and always in the same sequence. The cycles are as natural and organic as the human birth cycle and have the same stages. Game time. Now that you have come to the end of this book, it's time for you to get out there and turn your biggest loves into reality, to have it all and to create more of what you love. What a life. Game time. You have the key to unlock your magnetic mind and become the powerful creative force that you are. You are superconscious. You are the creative energy that collapses all potentials and possibilities into a human form. You went through individuation and created an unconscious orientation to a problem you thought you needed to overcome. Through this process, you forgot you have unlimited possibilities and only saw limitations. You forgot you were the powerful creator, and you orientated to the world as a powerless victim. Now it's time to stop, to realize you can have it all now, to reconnect to your superconscious and change all the instructions using the 5 steps of the recode. You're tuned in to big end results that you love. You've stepped into them and felt them. You've created structural tension. You've uncovered and recoded all resistance and know how to take aligned action. In short, you've learned to regain your power and create a life you love. Please commit to doing the Superconscious Creator Code every day. Start by having the true end results that you choose written out. I choose the end result of blank. Then each day, go through the 5 steps to clear resistance and receive wisdom on exactly how to turn each choice into reality. If you do 2 or 3 choices a day, you will get through each choice at least once a week. That's all it takes to get into the right structure and create from your superconscious. I am so honored to share this information with you. Everything I have shared has changed my life profoundly, and I choose the same transformation for you. We have many workshops and trainings happening all around the world and online. Please check out our website, www.yournotbroken.com, for up-to-date times and locations. I hope to see you at one soon. I'd also love to hear from you, so feel free to email me at hello@yournotbroken.com. I endeavour to reply personally to every email, so please write me. This is Christopher Michael Duncan speaking, not me myself, because I'm reading his book. Remember, you are not broken. You are a powerful, superconscious creator. You create your reality. Stay focused, stay magnetic, and do what matters most. Love, your friend, Christopher M. Duncan. There. P.S. The best way to change the world is to get this book into as many hands as possible. Hence why I'm sharing it with you. What a great creation for upcoming birthdays, Christmas/other celebrations, or as a random gift. Thank you in advance for sharing this work with the people you love. Might as well do this brief about the author. Christopher Michael Duncan is a New Zealander who lives in the Gold Coast, Australia with his wife Harriet. After a near-death experience in 2009, he dedicated his life to understanding how to create success and find meaning in the laws of the universe. What he discovered was that most people have been misled about the fundamental ways in which manifestation really works. After studying one-on-one with some of the most transformational minds in the world, Christopher created the Magnetic Mind Method, teaching others how to become superconscious and create anything they desire. Absolutely awesome. That was You're Not Broken. 5 Steps to Becoming Superconscious and Activating Your Magic by Christopher Michael Duncan. From now on, I'm going to be going into his coursework. I have over a dozen courses and the certification programs from this guy. They cost tens of thousands of pounds, and I've got access and I'm going to study them. I'm going to write and take notes and learn to be a certified coach, and on my journey to becoming that, I'm going to share what I learn on the way and teach and guide you through these processes, which technically are worth tens of thousands of pounds, and you can create your desired dream reality with it. So stay tuned for more. God bless.